Right.
Okay, so today we have a game, well, a bunch of games of John Slow TeRRoR vs Lojza. Lojza is the legend himself. I believe TeRRoR has made him 2k3 recently by the donation of Puntos. TeRRoR, of course, the arena player we seem to feature every week. He's the only player playing arena every week, but still counts, doesn't it? I God, I have so little to say about this game. Just look at the maps, just right off the maps. But I guess I'll just introduce John Slow's base while I'm here. He is the Berbers, so of course he's possibly looking for safe stones. He can defend himself with cavalry later if he wants to. So having a look here, his map does indeed have a safe second stone, and his main stone is pretty bad. Safe main gold, double berries, which is really nice for any civ really. All his deer and sheep are quite safe in the back. Having inside deer is a nice mental factor, as well as having 4. So I think TeRRoR's base is pretty good over here. So the guest caster today is Guy Seongyong, or whatever the hell that's pronounced, also known as Joshua. We'll just call him Joshua for today. So
yeah, that's fine.
Introduce us to Lojza's map.
All right, so sorry, how is it pronounced again?
Lojza, as in L-O-I-J-A is close enough.
Okay,
Lojza.
Lojza. Okay, so taking a look at his map. Right away, you can see that he has his main gold forward. It's never a nice thing. But it is made up for the fact that he does have his two secondary golds in the back, and he also has a neutral gold far back in his base as well to the left. And unlike John Slow's base, he actually has a safe main stone and also a neutral stone in the back of his base as well. And plus, just a mile, in general, a mile's worth of space in the back too. Like that's going to come in pretty helpful later on, I imagine, with some farm space or whatnot. And yeah, I mean, with a map like this, with mostly safe resources, I think he can really choose to do whatever he wants. I mean, usually a more defensive map, I think, implies you'll be booming, and Khmer definitely have the capacity to do that. One of the most powerful booms in arena because of all those buildings that you're able to skip out on.
That, as well as the up, where you could have an extra 2 villagers working instead of having them working just as you go up to Castle Age. They working through Feudal H2 is a nice bonus.
Sorry, I forget. Yeah, the miscellaneous ones. Berries relatively to the back as well. That the only annoying thing I think was that one boar that was just outside. He went to go get that just now.
Yeah, TeRRoR isn't that big of a lamer, so these games, I would imagine both players are going to be playing pretty safe. This is kind of a friendly game. People don't really lame each other, so I think both should not be caring too much about that. So Khmer vs Berbers, what are we going to see either player do? Well, Khmer have semi-reasonable monks. They're pretty good unless you have Atonement. So Smush possible against Berbers though, who are likely to go scouts. Maybe Camel Archers, they're probably not as likely to boom in a 1v1. That's really not the best option. I'd also like to mention that out of arena civs, TeRRoR did rank Berbers as number 31 out of 31 civs.
Ouch.
Like 5 people rated them rated Vietnamese as the worst, and then he just like whips out this pool of like Berbers being the worst arena civ. Gets me every time. But yeah, as I said, it's probably Khmer monks are not going to be useful against that. So Smush maybe not the best option, but you know, monk defend, so maybe going scouts into Nightline, Melkoring it. It's not usually TeRRoR's style, but if he does, then Khmer do have a decent, you know, defense against it. I do like the defensibility of Lojza's map, so he's likely to probably boom his Khmer. So
that's what I thought too.
I'm kind of thinking it's pretty hard for TeRRoR to even push, because if you look closely at Lojza's TC, he has those 2 wood lines, one to the bottom left and one to the right, which basically if he joins one to his TC with just like 3 houses and the other to his TC with 3 houses, he's really defended. So his map is extra safe. So, you know, he can wallet his main gold, but if he loses that, he's still got so much in the back, so...
Exactly. It's like map hacks.
Yeah, I just don't really know what TeRRoR's plan is going to do. Because TeRRoR can scout a second gold outside, which I believe is his. Yeah, of course it says. The second stone he knows should be Lojza's, if he does. TeRRoR, I noticed this the other day, TeRRoR doesn't know about neutral resources. He doesn't know that there's 2 golds, so in the game he scouted them out before he can like identify that, you know, the other player must not have them if he has them. So TeRRoR in Feudal Age can scout that gold, but not in Dark Age, the main gold. So I'm not entirely sure what TeRRoR's going to do if he sees Lojza's map, because he can see it's, you know, probably not bad in Dark Age, so he might think it's a bit hard to push.
I mean, I've seen TeRRoR go for pretty wide range of strategies, just straight booming. I think he's done scouts a few times before. Pretty much the only strategy I think he doesn't do is just monk rushing unless he's Aztecs. I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
And even then, it's really badly executed, all things considered.
I love TeRRoR's idle time. He's like 40% of a vil behind Lojza at the moment.
I wonder if there are any arena players that would have the balls to smush with Berbers, because I mean their monk tech tree is not bad.
Yeah, it's really good. Just no sanctity. It's
yes, no sanctity is brutal.
But aside from that, they're okay. Like if you wanted to do something like convert, I don't know, mass elephants or something, then that kind of thing would be perfectly fine, because you're not exactly worried about monk HP when you're converting that kind of thing. But
last time we were casting, I mean, one of the games, TeRRoR was Burmese, and he ended up going for Elite Battle Elephant at one point. I wonder if his opponent is going to be that crazy.
Possibly, probably not as TeRRoR, although he's probably going to pull off a decent boom. TeRRoR do have the Arbalast now, which could be decent against Berbers. They can kill Camel Archer if you get Arbalast before they reach Imperial Age, though. So, you know, if you have a good TeRRoR boom, you know, fast boom, then you could be up and start making those kind of things. But TeRRoR's, of course, going to go Camel Archers because he's got 3 on stone. He's going for 27+2 into some kind of castle. Into a unique unit, I'm assuming. I don't see why we would just make one against TeRRoR. There's no point without, you know, trying to raid a Camel Arch.
I heard an age up. I heard the age up thing on your end. I think you're a little bit ahead of me.
What time are you at?
11:40.
Oh yeah, a little bit ahead.
Because I heard an age up button. Or the sound, I mean.
Let me know when you get to 12:15.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I think it's good now.
Right, so
market black. Well, actually, just mark it for Lojza.
Did he forget? Yeah, he did. He forgot he was TeRRoR. Oh boy.
Well, he just built the market, thankfully.
Oh, Lojza, throwing away your one of the strongest civ bonuses. That's not good.
Well, he still has 150 wood just because he didn't build a blacksmith, but yeah.
And then none of the extra resources. My phone keeps going mental at me, so if I keep checking that, that's where I disappeared it. But 27+2 without the deer, obviously you can push those, but in a casual game I wouldn't bother because they're just they're not worth the mental effort, really.
Yeah, that's one of the worst deer patches I've ever seen, I think.
I prefer to get scouting in as well, so. But yeah, he's doing like a perfectly very, very standard base 27+2. He doesn't have deer, so he's adding then an extra one to berries for 5. He has enough on wood to make his DCs.
Someone like Melkor would be crazy enough to try and learn those deer.
Oh, he would. Like in like a lot of games, he would still push those deer, even casual ones. It's just, you know, I can understand why he doesn't, because this isn't that serious.
Of course, if this were, oh well, John Slow can't really participate because he's like 100 rating below the cutoff, but it was a Dem show match for Arena?
But Derek, his mini Killer Bee style tournament thing.
Yeah.
For Arena. That's, well, that cutoff point is basically assuming that people above that rating do apply. So if there isn't, then of course it's whatever rating. It's just going to be the top X amount of players. So here we see TeRRoR sending in forward villagers to build his inevitable castle. He managed to scout the gold. Oh, this is nice. TeRRoR's now inside. He can see the monastery. He could do some denials there. You can see the gold as well. The main gold is going to get a castle dropped on it.
I just as a personal rule, I don't like offensive castle drops that much, but
they're just like such a 17x HD move. It's
yeah.
But Lojza didn't go scouts. I don't know why TeRRoR's actually risking making that. It's really not worth the risk. But he's gone away with it anyway.
The most successful offensive castle drop I've had, though, was when my opponent was unfortunate enough to have 3 forward golds, and just the one castle, he didn't scatter it out, he just denied all of them. It was like instant GG at that point. I had 2 maps like that in arena games this past week, too. Ugh, it was disgusting. Maps.
I've had some bad maps recently, like a game vs Glen. I had sodding Persians. And
yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's just two stones in one spot. We're a ball hair away, like literally just a one tile gap. There we go. The commands weren't working for a second there. I had to fix that. Ah, there we go. Alright, so yeah, it was just so bad. But in this case, TeRRoR isn't really denying much. He's denying main gold, but he knows like what is this scouting like. Yeah, he definitely could have missed some of Lojza's resources if they're up in the north there. So I think this is just like a YOLO. He decided to do this in the beginning of the game rather than actually basing the strategy on any factors he's managed to scout or discover.
And it's like he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this right now. Monastery, Siege Workshop, Castle.
It's not like his map is that bad that he needs to play so aggressive. So he really needs to make sure that if he is aggressive, it's going to work. If he wants to, you know, throw away his good map.
The thing is, when it comes to these 2 civs, I think they're both considered to be late game powerhouses. It's kind of interesting to see who will have the edge in the late game.
I would prefer Chimera personally.
Because they do say that Berbers die to like strong Halb and Ram pushes, and
So Halb Ram, but possibly more often Halb Onager. I mean, Chimera are not bad. They do have siege engineers, so their Halbs are not the best, but they do have Onagers with siege engineers, so there's not really any issue with that. I think Berbers are pretty simple to die, just any civ that has Halb in general.
It's so ironic considering they have so many anti-Halb units. But yeah, it's just how it works.
What time are you at?
21:10.
Oh, we're actually on track. 2 Magnos here is really going to keep TeRRoR away.
9 attack on those Camel Archers, probably the best ranged unit there is to try and deal with those Mangonels right now.
Yeah, in the Castle Age, there is... Oh, that monk got sniped. I wonder why there's just randomly a relic instead of Lojza's base. This isn't AOC. Speaking of relics...
Yeah, we never talked about the relic distribution.
Yeah, it's one of the most pointless things to talk about. I don't know why people bring it up, just maybe kill some time, but I don't see the point in talking about relic distribution, because unless you get like 3 spawning right at someone's door, it's not really worth mentioning. And here they look pretty even. Ever since expansions changed arena, the relic generation's been really fair overall, so...
I'd agree with that, yeah.
You should see AOC, it's just relics spawning inside each other's walls. I once had like 4 relics.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of those like Resonance 22s break the meta things. Some of them were arena, and like I would sometimes see like at least 1 or 2 relics like inside someone's walls. That was just ridiculous.
A lot of Mangonels can defend this. I mean, he's already got 4. Like, Camel Archers can't fight that. TeRRoR's still trying to pick off the... Oh, we managed to pick off a Mangonel, but what? At what cost? Yeah, one more Mangonel hit and a lot of those Camel Archers are going to die.
I'm seeing TeRRoR micro at its finest right now.
What micro?
1 for 1 Mangonel trade, but 2 flattened Mangonels for Lojza.
Speaking of which, what are the economies looking like? We're looking at 39 villagers from the 1 TC push over to 64 from Lojza. Lojza is keeping his TCs running, one's a bit idle, but he has a large number of farms. He has quite a lot of room to expand back into a nice push. He's on the 2nd gold. He's on his other 2nd gold at the same time.
Your general rule, you said if you're sticking to 1 TC and you're trying to push, you should try to take the relics, right? Because you have the map control.
Yeah, because like, you know, if they boom and they can push you back, if you still have the relics, you could actually recover. But at the same time, it also helps you still push if you manage to take your relics before you die. So you know, it could actually turn your 1 TC push into a lot stronger for like no extra cost. And then you could even use monks in it. So
sadly, it seems TeRRoR is too occupied this forward to care much about the relics.
I think he's just not all there for the relics at the moment. A forward castle coming up. 4 mangonels, can't deny that. Maybe a 5th one going to come up. There's 5 mangonels for Lojza. He does not have a second siege workshop, so he's just going to produce in the 1. I think maybe if I was him, I would add another one.
It's going to be a huge microfest if Lojza does try to deny the castle.
I think he easily could though. And what is TeRRoR doing? TeRRoR is sending in his camel archers. Oh, and he just loses a bunch to just some attack ground mangonel micro. He just... he's sitting under the mangonel fire, and now castle is up, just destroying the camel archers. He's now down to 4 army out of like, what, 15?
Yeah, that's bad for him. Losing that much army when you have nothing in the realm of an economy back at home. Ouch. Well, it's just up to the Imperial Age.
Yeah, TeRRoR could be up if he was doing a less all-in push. I mean, he's actually looking quite close now. If he did a little bit more damage, maybe he could have delayed Lojza a little bit more. If Lojza's farm economy was interrupted, for example, I think he would probably have a bit of trouble.
TeRRoR's at least stealing some of Lojza's gold. I guess that somewhat makes up for not getting the relics. He's getting one. He's getting the one that was inside Lojza's base that he couldn't. Where the monk died, at least.
Well, I just sort of pits his villagers to use rather than letting them idle, but I don't see what he's going to do. I think as soon as Lojza hits Imp, then TeRRoR will probably GG. He just hasn't done enough pressure, and there's nothing he can do to push from here on without trebs, and he's gonna lose his castles. So, is Lojza building a back siege workshop? No, Lojza doesn't actually have a siege workshop. If that one goes down, then he has nothing.
Bombard cannons are always a nice perk with the Khmer, but thankfully he's got the castle up, so he can just use trebs to take those castles down.
I don't see how a Berber player can recover from this situation. He's too far behind. I think maybe if he added TCs maybe a couple minutes ago. Like if he added TCs and then he'd have a long time before these 2 castles are down and this forward gets wrecked. So if he actually wanted to boom, he could probably easily be 100 vills by the time this forward is gone. And by then he could probably start massing up things like Cavalier. TeRRoR finally bringing in some relics though.
Problem is that monastery is forward, and once these castles are gone, so will that monastery. Then yeah, that's a guaranteed GG for TeRRoR right there.
Well, he he knows where 1 relic is, 2 relics. He's missed another one though. His map scouting is not so great. I think
happens to the best of us.
I think yeah, he should give up the 1 TC push. He still hasn't, but I think he should. He has very low farms for going to Imp though.
Yeah, 12 farms up and running.
2 castles for Lojza. Trebs coming out of one and the other. This is what we call Klavska's castle right here. This is the new meme, I believe.
Well, whose castles?
Klavska's.
No. Klavska's castle for which one of these players?
Of TeRRoR.
Oh.
But it's a long story. But Lojza is basically the person I believe Klavska's was looking up to for the longest time. And that makes him a meme. He inherited the memeness. And a GG from TeRRoR, okay. Well, it's fair to say, TeRRoR's economy is just not looking too good. Resource-wise, TeRRoR has a lot.
I think he just had tunnel vision or something. He knew he went in too deep. And yeah, he just never was able to build up an economy.
He never decided to. He wanted to do the 1 TC push, but he imped too late for it. I think maybe he just didn't want to add enough farms. Like, instead of making as many mangonels as he did, if he just kept the castle and pressure on, just using camel archers to snipe as he can, maybe you do a little bit better. But
and the most aggressive 1 TC pushes I've experienced with like forward castle drop, and then they just they just torture the market just so they can get up to Imperial Age like 1 or 2 minutes later after putting that castle down. And it's just like it just pour on the pressure. If they got a good unique unit, they make some of those and then follow it up with trebs. Depending on how your base, depending on how much space there is in the back, if any at all, that can end up killing you or
yeah, one of the strongest ways to play a castle UU is with being fast to for trebs, with the exception of a few things like conks or conks can do, but Janissaries may be a little bit slow. I do prefer to go all in with those. But yeah, let's look at the Chivos real quick. Military stats: units killed 11, units lost 13. 13 of those being pretty much the camel archers that ran right into the mangonel shots that got cleaned up very, very easily. Lots more resources collected for Lojza. That's huge.
That was honestly the pace of that game was very reminiscent of most of the games I played back when I was like 17, 18 XXHD or something, where just they think the forward castle is just going to make you panic, and then they realize it doesn't kill you. You get up to Imperial Age, you just push them back, and they just call it GG. It's just as simple as an arena game gets, I think.
Yeah, just wall against it, and there's like that's it, just internal wall, and unique units can't really go in and do anything. Then you have to force them to invest a lot on siege, and then you could either boom better or imp faster, whatever you want. But the Vil High is almost, double, so TeRRoR had no chance.
The only way it could be more linear is if both sides ended up doing just booming and then just slugging it out Imperial Age until one of them dies.
Until one of them dies. TeRRoR. But, okay. Game number 2 is then.
Okay. Launching.
Alright, I hit pause. 1 second.
Yeah, the game screen's going to be popping up any second for me now. Okay, paused it. Just tell me when to go.
I don't know what hotkey it is I use, but I always hit the caps lock by accident, pain in the ass. Anyway, so 3, 2, 1. Okay. Well, here again we have Lojza vs TeRRoR. This is game number 2. I believe I have forgotten to update the score entirely, and that's the only note I do not actually have open, so I am a pro streamer. Score. Okay, so we have 1-0 for Lojza. So, taking a look at Lojza's map right off the bat, that main gold is, Jesus, that is atrocious. That's bottom tier gold right there. His main stone is not looking any better. His second gold is outside looking pretty bad. His other second gold pretty bad. He has about a good 30 tiles of backspace area, which is pretty bad. He has a second stone, I guess that counts for something. So, Lojza is going to have to play pretty aggressive to win this map, but luckily he is Huns and they have quite a lot of fast up aggressive strategies. So
move that one secondary gold closer to the others, and you would have the 2 maps that I was talking about earlier this week. It was just that terrible. Guess we flipped roles now. Now I'm going to be the one talking about John Slow's map.
Sadly, yeah.
Ugh. Main stone, absolutely terrible. Right, sandwiched right up against the walls. One of his secondary golds as well. His other secondary stone, way outside. His golds are decent though. His main gold is like halfway between the walls and the back of his base. It's definitely more than back. And also another secondary gold towards the back as well. Thankfully, he has a little bit of space to get back he has a little opening here in order to get back there, and also the second berry patch back there as well. And all his huntables are inside his walls too. The two boars and the patch of 4 deer. That's very nice, all inside his walls. So I think John Slow definitely has the map advantage right now.
I kind of hate maps like TeRRoR's right now. Just the way that the right side of his base doesn't quite connect to the wood line. That's quite a huge gap there. That's not really wallable. Not a big fan of those kind of maps. It does also give you a lot more room as just generally being exposed to any kind of aggression from any angle. But as I said, he does have that bit of back area back there, so having second berries as Khmer, it's okay. I like to have the second berries as Khmer because of course you save a bit of wood, and then you save even more wood by not having to make farms. It does cost you a bit of food, but if you're doing a high enough pop FC anyway, it doesn't really matter, you just end up better off. Yep. So you know, I like TeRRoR's map. It's quite okay, but he's gonna have a hard time getting good mining camps on his gold or the second berries or the second gold.
He's already made it. He's already made it pretty clear from the last game that he's not above doing forward castle drops, and if you were to do that again, oh boy, that would be devastating for Lojza.
Well, taking a look at Lojza's build right now, he is 4 on wood and as Huns. That means he's probably not going to Trush. As Huns would probably go 3 on wood if he was. He does have a lot of Vils queued up, so he's probably definitely just going to do some sort of fast kind of FC, queued up another one. Maybe we're going to see cavalry archers from him, maybe just very fast up scouts. Either way, he has 4 deer, so he's got some good food. It's always so much better to have 4 deer than 3. It makes everything that's usually a type builder look quite good.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I've pushed in deer too.
This is a map I would talk about the route distribution. What the hell is going on here?
Looks like 3 of them are in TeRRoR's favor.
Well, 3 of them are pretty close, but the one between them also, that's also just... Yeah, I mean, one is quite clearly Lojza. Lojza can easily just build the monster and take that relic. Like, if TeRRoR's going scouts, he's unlikely going to be camping there. But aside from that, yeah, I think these relics are just pretty biased for TeRRoR here, at least in the area they're going to be fighting. That, yeah, pretty in dispute.
Good for Khmer because they're one of the more gold-intensive civilizations out there. Their trash is probably right up there with Turks and Teutons for the worst trash in the game, probably.
I like tunes, but the worst trash in the game, do you mean Burmese?
Arguable.
Their hubs are too good, but their skirms are kind of on the useless side. Anyway, I don't really know what Lojza is planning here. As I said, he has to play aggressive, so I don't know what his exact plan is. But he has 4 on one nom camp, 5 on the other. That's 9 on wood. I think he
could try like a bit more of an unconventional type of Hun aggression with like the Tarkin rush. It's certainly possible.
VS Khmer. I mean, I don't think that would work, but going for 27 plus 2 with deer, so this is decently high pop, and he has the wood to go barracks plus either stable or archery range, so don't really know what this FC is going to be, but he's going to go either archers, crossbow, cav arch, or maybe just scouts. I'm thinking he's going to open with a stable anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what he has to at least do at a minimum to keep this map safe.
I'm not too big on Khmer as a civ. I just think they're just feel a little weird to play. But if there's one perk I do like about them on Arena is you can just build this stable instantly if you want to play with scouts. So that is a nice perk, I have to admit.
I don't really know what TeRRoR is doing. He has 6 on berries, and he's doing a 30 plus 0. Why? Why the 6 on... What? I don't know what he's doing, but he could even go scouts himself at this rate. Yeah, I don't understand this order from TeRRoR. It feels like everything. It
11
feels like
on
he
berries
wants.
now.
Oof. It feels like it feels like he wants to do something that would require a very fast up, but he's just doing 30 plus 0 anyway. I don't understand this guy, but let's look at Lojza. Archery range. Unexpected. And he's building it with one villager because he is blatantly crazy. Okay, so are we going to see expos, siege tower, that kind of thing, expo map control, or just going straight cavalry archers? What I would often do with this is 28 plus 2. And I would usually, you know, open with just a few archers as I go up. And that way you just stop any immediate forwards if you get fletching early. You could also take a lot of damage off their scout, so you could, you know, kill their scouting really. And then go cav arch, and just go cav arch, mango, ram, that kind of thing.
Yep. That's what I would do too.
I think he's kind of... I mean, he has what I would have in gold. His wood count a little bit shy, but still okay. So I don't really know what he plans to do. I would probably, if I was him, add another one to wood real quick, just to make sure that he can afford some siege workshops.
He's watching things like Stark's build order guides. He says cutoffs like, oh, you need, for archers and crossbows, you need 3 villagers on gold per archery range you make. I don't think there's any tips like that for the cav archers though. I imagine it'd have to be a lot more than that though.
Crossbows create a lot faster than archers.
Yeah, maybe it's like 3.5 to maybe 4 vills on gold for every archery range.
I would go for 4 because I think it's slightly over 3 per archer, but I'm not entirely sure. Depends how efficient as well. But anyway, double range cavalry archers vs TeRRoR scouts as Khmer. Okay, yeah, I was able to have a kind of guess to what the hell he was doing. I still don't really know, but he has 520 wood, so I think he's just gonna add a monster right away, then just add 2 TCs maybe.
Yep.
I don't see aggression. I think he's just going to keep a little bit of security, try and get relics. I don't think he's going to go double stable opening. Double
Scouts won't. Yeah.
Monastery. That's what I meant.
Scouts, I don't think will hold up too well to the cav archers though.
Yeah, sometimes when I do cav arch, well, do scouts and they do cav arch, I get light cav and +1 armor, and it does okay. It definitely helps, especially if you go monks, and then you start adding in knights, and you can have like a really nice defense against them. But that's a lot of investment, and you need to be doing a lot of scout play for a very long time to be able to pull that one off.
If you were operating a camel civ, would you go opt for them instead of knights if you're facing cav archers?
No, I would definitely go knights. The thing is, even if I kill them, they're basically 1 TC, so I need to have knights to then kill them after it, if they're going pretty all into it. In this case though, Lojza is adding the TC, he wants the economy. He definitely does not have enough on gold to run double range CA, but he can do for a little while, so... Yeah, I think he's going to try to get his economy up and running, just use these for a bit, but he's not going to add any siege, of course he can't afford it. TeRRoR is... Lojza is running his scout around TeRRoR's TC, trying to make him garrison, but that's not going to work. Light cav from the Khmer player.
Let's hope he doesn't have any, let's see. Well, he has 1 super weak vill by the farms. If he's not paying attention, he could get picked off.
What time are you
scout's dead. I'm at 18:15.
How are you ahead of me now by 15 seconds? Either way, it doesn't matter. We'll just accept
pause for just a split second.
It's fine. We'll just accept the flaws.
Because earlier you were saying how I think Lojza was going 27 plus something, and he had 26 on my end, so like, oh, you must be a little bit ahead of me. And, I think I overdid it.
So that monk is now done by TeRRoR?
Yep.
So now Lojza basically does have full map control. I don't see any knights going to be added from TeRRoR. His economy is pretty stressed as it is. He has very little farms for supporting 3 TC. I think soon he's going to run out of food, so he can't really afford to add any more units at the moment. He's going to add Siege Workshop just to make defensive mangonels maybe.
He's going to need a lot more on gold if he's going to even think about adding any of that stuff.
Those cav arch have +2 already, Bodkin, so it's going to be a hell of a challenge. Lojza's 2 TCs are up and running. He does have a decent farm eco. He has more farms than TeRRoR, in fact. His third TC is about to come up, so he's actually a vill ahead. How the hell? TeRRoR, what have you been doing? Has TeRRoR been idling?
Time.
Oh, he does have wheelbarrow. That explains 3 vills.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, so Lojza's only 2 or 3 vills behind, and now he's got to start TC up. He's going to be not going to get any further behind. And he has a lot of army, and he's still making army. Correction, he was still making army.
If he's gone up to 3 TCs, I'd say the likelihood that he's going to forward like a siege workshop to try and pressure isn't too high.
Yeah, and I think a siege workshop just takes a lot of the economy that you're spending on booming. So
it's a nice shot onto those cav archers. I think the +1 range on the Chimera Scorpions for the team bonus is going to pay off a little bit here.
Yeah, Scorpions are really nice against any archer unit, as well as infantry. A lot of people underuse them against crossbows. But honestly, if you get 2 of those against crossbows, even if someone does like Siege Tower Expo, they get 5 in your base. Make a single Scorpion, don't make a Mangonel. It's almost impossible to micro against in comparison.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And even in the late game, I think if there's one... Like, a lot of civs have just something that they completely die to. Like, for example, Chinese, everyone says they die to onagers. Britons, they die to siege rams. I think Huns, if they die to anything, is probably mass scorpions. And especially with these Chimera Scorpions with the extra range, I think that can definitely do a number on them.
Are you suggesting that their paladins die to mass scorpions?
I mean, I haven't... You mass up enough of them, I guess they can get rid of them too, although you probably want something in front of them anyways, and thankfully Chimera do get halbs to do for that job anyways. It's very unlikely in a one...
Yeah.
It's very unlikely in a 1v1 that your opponent's going to end up going for both Paladin and Heavy Cav Archer, unless you're a crazy person like Melkor who goes Paladin plus Siege Onager in a 1v1 Arabian match.
What civ has those 2?
What?
Did you go
Paladin and Siege Onager?
Aside from Kelt, who has those 2?
Sorry, who has what
saying
unit?
At different times?
No, it's just an example. I'm just saying, like, he's a madman for going for 2 extremely expensive unit types in a 1v1 setting. Like,
honestly, I think there's too much about that. Like, not enough people talk about going Paladin in 1v1s where it's really easy to go. There's a lot of easy ways to also go other expensive options, like Onager plus Siege Engineers, for example, is an upgrade that people think is you do need really strong economy for, but people overlook it as a very expensive option. So, but
it's definitely more likely. It's definitely more likely in Arena, just because I think you have a bit more time to boom up most of the time.
I mean, Chimera do have Siege Engineers as well as Onagers, so I mean, Halbs plus Siege Onagers is quite good against Huns. They only have 200 swordsmen, which are not ideal. I don't even know what upgrades the Huns are missing on the infantry. I've never really looked.
They're missing plate mail,
squires.
And they don't have champion. No, they have squires. Chimera don't have squires. Oh wait, less meant Huns. Oh yeah, I heard Huns.
I was looking at the wrong civ. Never mind.
Yeah, Chimera, they don't get champion,
yeah,
squire, or plate mail. Yeah.
Nice. TeRRoR's investing a lot just to get 1 relic. Those Scorpions have serious armor against this Balkan ROCA though.
Yep, 7 pierce armor. That's something I didn't really pay attention to until I decided to. 1 more pierce armor than the Mangonels.
So we're going to see Mangonels coming out for TeRRoR here. He can easily kill the Onagers with those. He could out-micro the Mangonels with the CA. Sam more CA. Lojza already has Bloodlines. He's already got +1 armor. He's doing pretty strong on those CA. And economy-wise, TeRRoR is 4 villagers ahead.
Oh, he's microing the Scorpions decently, but 1's going down. The only Scorpions that can potentially stand up to Mangonels in the Castle Age. Right here. And even then you have to be careful, because these guys have frame delay, obviously. And there's always the in-game lag.
So a lot of Scorpions here have actually cleaned up a decent amount of the CA and the Mangonel.
I can't help but wonder if John Slow was inspired by Viper. See, there's a lot of Scorpion shenanigans.
Honestly, I think Scorpions are underused. It's just something I never pay attention to. I think it's because Heavy Scorpion is so expensive.
At the same time, though, the upgrade doesn't cost any gold, so you can make it work, I guess, but you would want a good wood economy, and Chimera don't have that because they don't get two-man saw, so it might take a little while for you to work up the resources to get that.
TeRRoR is now researching pikemen. I see no unit upgrades from Lojza. He does still have his stable in case he needs to start getting more knight upgrades, but he already has a few. Castle coming up from Lojza? Is he going to actually go Tarkins? I wouldn't be shocked if he did, but now he's getting thumb ring, so maybe not. Lots of barracks coming out for TeRRoR, as well as a siege workshop. He doesn't have loom, but obviously that doesn't matter too much. But if he loses a villager to a wolf, I'm just going to laugh at him.
Paladin and Paladin and HCA would be super expensive, but I think potentially Tarkin and HCA could work just because the upgrades and the units themselves are cheaper.
No, Tarkin,
we'll
Elite Tarkin's so expensive, you'd be surprised.
1,000 food, 500 gold. Yeah, that's fairly comparable price to...
It's comparable to Paladin, yeah. And then they benefit from the same upgrades, so...
But regardless of whichever mounted unit he goes for, he's going to run straight into a line of halberdiers. It's not going to be very pleasant for Huns, I think.
Well, he does have the CA to deal with the halbs. I think he maybe just wants to get into a TeRRoR here, of course, because Huns do win TeRRoRs quite easily because they have the more accurate trebuchets.
Yep, 35%, baby.
Which is like 3 times more accurate.
I'm wondering if it's 35% additive bonus.
It is, because it's like Trebs have a 15% accuracy and Huns get 50%, so 35% more accuracy, but it's like 3 times the same.
I see. 35% multiplicative, I think, wouldn't make too much sense anyways, just because the accuracy Trebs have on units is 15%, so that'd just be terrible.
It's pretty huge, and it would actually deal with the Scorpions quite well. Yeah, Trebs coming out, it doesn't look like Tarkins is going to be happening, but I don't see any additional options. I don't see Skirmisher coming out. Bracer, yes. Heavy Cavarch now coming out. No universities, so he still has no ballistics, he still has no chemistry, which are... I would probably suggest ballistics at this point. Siege Ram would be good.
I hope he remembers to pick up Parthian. It's honestly hilarious how often I see players just neglecting Parthian tactics.
I've seen a lot of people with their bloodlines on their Cavarch. I mean, there's a lot of times I've forgotten to get bloodlines. It's... Now Bracer's in though, and also they now have 10 damage. These Scorps are not going to last.
Yep.
But the Rams... If those Rams just go straight for either the gate or the trip, then there's kind of nothing that Lojza can do to stop it.
The lack of squires, I think, is definitely... You're seeing it in action a little bit, I think, right here. I think with it, you probably could have gotten some Cavarch pickoffs right there. Heavy Scorpion coming down for John Slow. It doesn't do anything for their armor, unfortunately. It sticks at 7. Just give them more attack and a little bit more HP.
He still has to deal with the siege ram, so Lojza is now killing 1 ram on his treb. He's definitely going to lose the treb. Yep, there we go.
Knowing how 1v1s work, he's probably going to end up tossing in Hussars or something to try and snipe those. Then it's just going to become a full micro war. Can John Slow manage his halbs well so that the Scorpions don't get picked off by the Hussars and whatnot?
Well, what I'm thinking is going to be happening here is that Lojza's siege ram, he's just going to go HCA siege ram like he would his Turks, because obviously the Scorps can't do anything. Just use siege ram on siege ram, use siege ram on the Scorps, and just try and pick off everything in between. Lojza looks kind of dead though. Like, what can you do to stop these rams?
Absolutely nothing.
Now's the time to get loom. Lojza is thinking.
Yeah, that'll save you. Is he just going to try and micro these rams to take out the Scorpions one at a time?
Well, that's what we call skill.
Hilarious. Oh, there it goes. Ouch.
Oh, this is bad. That's a lot of Scorps lost for such a little cost. Only 60 gold for the Ram. Was it?
75 gold, yeah.
I was thinking it was 75, but I checked in all the time.
Scorpions cost the same gold, but less than half the wood.
Yeah, I never pay much attention to Scorpion costs. I just make them from time to time if I need to, snipe archers, whatever. I never use them in large fights. I prefer to use more units. That's
if
just
only
my problem,
siege engineers boosted the attack that the rams did to other siege weapons too, then Jon Snow would be winning the siege ram war hands down right here. Because Huns don't get that upgrade.
Yeah, Lojza does now have the same amount of rams, so of course he can't deal with the hulbs. The AC are still missing chemistry. Lojza still does not have university, and he does have quite a lot of wood, 700 wood, 900 gold. He could get ballistics and chemistry, no problem.
Ouch.
Oh, and there
Double
goes
crossbow
the rams.
coming down for Jon Snow. These scorpions are going to be killing machines after this. Not really, because apparently according to some numbers I saw, double crossbow actually has a surprisingly small effect on scorpions.
It's better vs high pierce armor units, which would be cavalry archers if they did not belong to the Huns. Because Huns have kind of crappy pierce armor in their ECA. They have +4, which is okay, but yes, any other civ that has +6 with fully upgraded armor on the heavy cav arch, that's a different story.
This is just a full ram train from Lojza right now.
Yes, full ECA ram. It's a really hard to beat combo.
You're talking about Turks earlier. This is probably their only chance against a civ like Italians, for example, which have Genoese crossbows.
Genoese are actually pretty easy to block with the help of rams, but I never find them to be too effective. I do prefer cavalry archers. They do still have high HP, so they actually can tank quite a bit. So it looks like
Lojza is just mistaken about his army compositions. He needs something strong melee to take on these scorpions, I think, at this point.
He does
not putting down any more stables.
He does have the ability to make trips, but he isn't making any. He probably should. They would kill that castle quite fast. I think he needs to regain that position. He does have a second castle on the right side of his base, just outside. I think that'd be quite good if he decided to start making some more trips, but I mean, population-wise, Lojza is overwhelmed by like 14 villagers. If he wanted a cavalier, he could add cavalier. If he wanted a university, he would build one, but clearly he doesn't want one, so... Who's got the bigger ram train? Definitely Lojza right now. Lojza expanding out on the map, taking some of the extra resources, the extra stone to the right.
Oh dear. I think we're about to see a massive engagement right now.
Lojza is now pop capped. He has to take this engagement, otherwise he can't even make Tarkans to be able to, which he's trying to do, to snipe the Treb.
Still has a slightly bigger ram train, but oh boy, the amount of micro these guys have right now trying to manage these rams must be crazy.
Those hubs are going to make such a big difference, but the thing is, when the hubs go, they're easy to replace. Now, speaking of which, because of all the wood being spent on siege rams, replacing the hubs might be a little bit harder than I thought.
Oh dear. 5 rams left for Jon Snow up front. And now all these HCA are going to get gunned down, but he's retreating, hopefully to fight another day.
That's not good.
Because Jon Snow is just not taking down this castle.
One of those rams is... 2 of those rams are just about dead. Okay, so it's not as bad as it looks. Those HCA just can't stand
all
those
bolts. Yeah, look at all those bolts just going through those HCA. Oh dear.
Did I miss something? What happened to TeRRoR's TC, Lojza's TC?
Let's see. Oh, it must have been those 2 rams that John Slow had brought over there.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention to those ages ago, and I assumed that Lojza would clear them up.
Yeah, I saw the 2 rams go in there, and I saw them attacking. I think this little patch over here. I think that was an archery range, but I didn't see them do anything. I didn't see them do anything after that.
So 2 castles are now going down.
GG called.
FedEx. FedEx on Messenger. You're losing to TeRRoR, please. Fucking FedEx.
So it's 1-1. These two players.
These 2 clowns.
Well, one thing's for sure. I mean, Lojza, I think, is at least a better match for John Slow than Melkor.
Lojza's, pretty good player overall. I mean, obviously, what are you going to do with Huns? I mean, if we take a quick look at where the Huns are really standing, they're pretty low down there. I've got them listed as 25. But I do have the Khmer listed as 26. I mean,
they're probably like top 5 in team games, though. They're a pocket.
They're kind of nice for that occasion, but still, I do have other preferences. Their paladins are actually really nice. If you're something like Spanish Pocket in a team game, and you are going to go paladin, you will get massively outclassed by Huns. You have no chance. Having a look at
because of the faster stables.
Yeah, and also the better boom, because Spain have like a generic boom. A lot of people forget about that. But if you take a look at what's left on the map, we still have a lot of gold outside here from Lojza. On the left, we still have a full... These are all pretty much full, all the tiles on the right that TeRRoR's been taking, where the castle is outside Lojza's base. That is pretty costly to Lojza's economy. That probably cost him Cavalier. He does have a decent amount of gold, but it feels like, it's a little bit harder for him to mass anything when he has to fight so hard to get his gold. If he didn't have to, if he had bad golds, he might have played this a little bit more safer, maybe had a better time.
Yeah, it's like how John Slow played is the one time I actually do feel like I'm enjoying playing Khmer, which is when you're massing up the Scorpions and just blowing everything up.
The new meme.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
It looks like Lojza was planning a side attack on TeRRoR as well, but that's never going to work. Let's take a quick look at the achievements.
I do believe Celt Scorpions are still a bit better, though. Just because, again, like double crossbow it's not as overwhelming as it might look.
Taking a look at the achievements, military stats, TeRRoR lost 155 units, whereas he only killed 121. But of course his units were mostly halbs, which aren't that valuable compared to the cavalry archers. He did lose a good few
Unfortunately, as
scores.
always, I just didn't put up achievements. I just X'd out of the game, Alt F4. I gotta get used to that, man.
Genius.
Yeah.
If you're launching single player, then you could just do F10 to the menu, and then if you quit the game, if you're in single player, it'll still take you to achievements. And then when you click menu, you go back to the place where you select Rex. So that's useful enough.
Yeah, I know about that, yeah.
Resource collection wise, looking pretty similar, to be honest. Both players have very, very similar booms. A lot more stone collected for Lojza, but a lot less stone used.
And the Huns are at least strong at that part of the game, and traditionally, I mean, on Arabia, obviously, but it should apply here too, because no houses means you're just banking up that much wood. And just means their boom is pretty solid, at least.
Yeah, I do enjoy Khmer, but Huns are probably just a pretty decent civ, better than Persians anyway.
It's always just such a the Huns are just such a weird civ, in my opinion, in the sense that everyone touts how flexible they are and just how every strategy is possible with them, like early on. This is more of like an Arabia thing, but and it's just later on they just become like one of the most one-dimensional things on the planet. If you're your Cav archers or your paladins or bust. It's amazing.
Anyway, so I'm going to cast one more game on my own, and then I'll probably call it a stream. We don't have that many viewers in a moment, and I am pretty tired, so I'm just glad to move on after this. So
Yeah.
It's nice having you co-cast as usual.
Yeah, sure. Anytime.
Right, so see you.
See you.
Okay, so that was Joshua with the first 2 games of this series. We do have more to cast. I'm going to cast game number 3 now. But I'm just going to give it like a couple of seconds, well, a couple of minutes interlude just so I can get another drink, that kind of stuff. So let me just bang out some mage music and turn on the timer, wherever the hell that's gone. Je suis back. We are here with another starting game of Lojza and TeRRoR, and I'm not gonna lie, it's going to kill me to cast this game. I have I am in need of more sleep. let's just jump right into this game. So we are currently 1-1 and we do not have a spec overlay. Let's fix that real quick. Here we go. So we have 1-1 score between these two players, Lojza, who now has Koreans, and TeRRoR, who now has the Huns. So I don't know Lojza as a trushing player. TeRRoR is, but he's not going to trush Koreans, so maybe we're probably just not going to see a trush this game. So what are we looking at map-wise here? Maybe Lojza might trush with a map this bad. Having a quick look, his main gold is pretty okay, but these two stones are completely out of the question. Sure, the main stone he has to take control of, and maybe TeRRoR is going forward more directly here if he is Huns. But I don't know. I think maybe he might want to play aggressive. No back area as well, nowhere to go. I had this kind of pretty much exact map the other day, except 10 of my stones are here, and instead of the wall being here with the opponent, it was here. I'll forever be salty about that map generation. So I don't want to say we're going to see a trush, but I think we're going to. I don't see that being much contest really. Something I might also assume is that Lojza could also go for Castle Age aggression, because of course he's not going to be trushed early on, so he's not going to have big problems with that kind of early aggression. So his stone will be decently safe early on, because no one's really going to trust Koreans. It's pretty suicidal to do so. In Dark Age, TeRRoR cannot scout that. Oh, the on-screen chat actually shows now. No, he can't tower hop. To tower hop through a corner, you have to have a corner with a gate and a wall piece. Here there's no corner because obviously there's trees in the way that have broken this up. And this one doesn't count because it's 2 wall pieces. One has to be a gate. If the Korean player does trush though, let's talk about TeRRoR's map real quick. So he has a safe main stone, so if he does get trushed, that's not a big problem. He has a nice safe second gold, not an extra but a second, and another second gold that's safe. That's really nice resource wise, at the same time as a nice extremely safe extra berries. If anything happens, like he has to take a lot of villagers off wood, he has to spend a lot of wood on defenses, that kind of thing, then he could easily just move back here at a mill. Cheap solution to keep things going. So if Lojza did decide to trush, he would have pretty bad time. I mean, he'd get the main gold, which he can't scout in Dark Age anyway. He'd get the second stone if he did trush here, but he might not. But he would just have, yeah, there's too much for TeRRoR in the back for the trush to work. So yeah, I'm thinking hopefully Lojza does decides that he's probably not going to be trushed, so he is able to FC and try aggression that way. Against Huns though, Huns can do a lot of things. Cavalry archers, open scouts, take map control. So, don't really know. A way I do like to play Koreans on the odd occasion. Oh shit, we see 3 on wood, he's going to trush. At least he managed to scout where TeRRoR is this time. Yeah, he's not even adding a house. Ah well, we're going to see a trush. A way I do like to play Koreans is to do a 27+2 sell stone FC. That way you tend to have a couple of villagers on stone, and it just helps if you need to tower defense against any kind of aggression. You add your 2 TCs doing a normal 3 TC boom, but you could easily defend with Koreans because of course you're going to be in Castle Age. You get the free guard tower really strong. Couple more to wood, Loon coming in, he's going to do a kind of 20 pot trush here. I'm okay with that. I don't really... He does scout the second stone, so if he does attack this, it's going to be out of luck. He's not really going to get that out of actually being good. 5 on stone, 3 on stone, 5 on wood, so this is going to be good. With Persians, I've frequently gone guard tower just because their 1 TC push ability is so strong. It's possible with the right civs, but most civs have better options than to just like go guard tower because you have to get a university. It's kind of expensive to get guard tower at the same time as, you know, just the viability of it kind of like pours off over time. And also just the time to get a uni to upgrade. So Lojza is going to actually trust in the right place. He's going to hit the main gold without really knowing it's there. So this is going to be fun. We're going to see how TeRRoR defends this though with the stone with the second gold. He wants to get these deer. He's trying to do some mental pathing shenanigans, get that through. That's not happening TeRRoR. It's way too far for that to work. But yeah, looks like TeRRoR's going to get attacked when he's during taking deer. Is he expecting a trush? Well, he might just do. TeRRoR hitting him with the 2. So what are we going to see from Lojza? Early blacksmith? Well, Gio, as I was just explaining, I have frequently gone and boom myself, which is basically a 27 plus 2. Except you sell stone FC, so you're on stone. So if you do get aggressed, then you could just make guard tower easily because you're already on stone. I do like Korean late game. It beats Huns for sure. They do have reasonable hubs. And reasonable hubs at the same time is just good towers to defend early so you can get away with the boom. At the same time as having siege onager, those kind of options. Their onagers in general are just quite great. TeRRoR's taking way more hits than he has to for this tower. Second tower coming up for both players. TeRRoR is already on stone with 4 villagers. TeRRoR only has 6 on wood though. I want to see his food economy. Yeah, he has technically 1 villager on food right now. Both players have lost their scouts. Neither player has really lost any villagers, but TeRRoR has idled for some. Which makes sense, it's TeRRoR after all. Something I do prefer to play is the arena map with an eye, but this is TeRRoR, so we'll never see that. So TeRRoR now has fletching, but of course the early fletching has been a big help for the Korean player. Why is it only 3? Where are... Lojza needs some vills, well a vill. I'm curious though, I didn't see Lojza lose a vill, but he has managed to catch on vill numbers with TeRRoR, so that might have something to do with it. TeRRoR building a market, so maybe heat up. He's not gone for the second berries, he definitely just does not have any food income right now. This is going to be quite a drawn up castle age, or drawn out rather. There's extra vills. Meanwhile, Lojza's economy, look at the farm count especially. Just such a dramatic difference. Not on gold yet, but they've obviously excel stone for that, that's perfectly fine. I think Lojza can actually be the first one out the castle, even though TeRRoR had like a 500 foot head start. Of course, Lojza does occasionally play the odd Arabia, so he does know what he's doing. That tower's going to go down, he is garrisoning in both. That's a lot more idle villagers. But of course, when that tower goes down, this can just be vill rushed. So that's that's way out of range. I think when this tower goes down, I think maybe TeRRoR might want to send all his villagers there, quickly build a house, and take this tower down. I think TeRRoR is defending really well here. Main gold is now safe. Lojza does know where it is now he's been inside his base. He's building a really ballsy tower. He can lose all these villagers here. That one's definitely dead if he just garrisons this tower. Yeah, there we go. I wonder if Lojza just doesn't know that Koreans don't build towers faster anymore. And there we go, wall's getting repaired. Trust fended off successfully. There's nowhere else for him to really tower. Wheelbarrow coming in for both players at pretty much the exact same time. But Lojza has a lot more economy. Like, villager-wise, Lojza's even a villager ahead. That's a lot of farms with Wheelbarrow. It's gonna be nice. FedEx is just still roasting Lojza. Ah, FedEx. I can't say I played much of FedEx, but I remember playing one team game with him in it. And it lagged at such a crawl. It was just disgusting. It was... FedEx, what are you doing? Oh, TeRRoR, you legend. Oh, Lojza trying to build a tower here, getting trapped by a gate. Oh, that's so nice. I think oh. FedEx is a pro chess streamer, he's also a pro stream cheater, apparently. But yeah, Lojza's definitely going to be Castle Age first, but he has no towers to make guard towers, so what's he going to do? Maybe make some kind of forward, maybe his own Mangonels. He is against Huns, so he might experience some issues. Maybe if TeRRoR was a normal human being, he would go full knights, but of course he isn't. We're just going to see whatever he wants to go. Still on stone. It's like he wants to build a castle, but where? Like, he can't hit this gold. He can put pressure here, but he still can't do anything about the gold. Like, no one has this many towers falling around it. Kill maybe... What are you doing? That might be in range after Bodkin. It might be, I'm not entirely sure. If it is, that's pretty nice, but there is no archery range here, so he's gonna have to keep garrisoning the bills. So is he going to add a TC? I definitely would have asked him. He has quite a huge food eco, and he doesn't look like he wants to aim fast. He's not that heavily on a stone, so yeah, add a 2 TC push this one probably. That's what I'm trying. I think it's... that's like 11 tiles away, and some of them are diagonal, so it could probably require 12 range for that to work. Yeah, this one reaches that. Yeah, this one doesn't reach this one. This is what I was calculating for. This one, I believe, is slightly one tile closer. Maybe. Understanding how this game works is not what we're all doing here. So if this tower goes up, the gold actually does get a little bit denied. Mangonel coming out. I'm surprised he didn't just Mangonel this and then just build this tower a bit closer. What's happening over here? Outpost, no tower. Economy wise, do we see another TC coming up from Lojza? No, apparently not. Where has he been spending his goddamn wood? Oh, the Mangonel, never mind. I just realised something happened in my brain. Common sense exists. Lojza walling up a little bit just to protect his Mangonel, I guess. Maybe he's expecting the knights. Oh, he can see the stables. Yeah, Bloodline Knights. I wouldn't make guard towers the Huns even if they had it, because against Koreans you're still going to be behind the range, so you're still forever going to lose your towers. They're just still not going to be able to hit. So Yeah, this is the problem. You don't have archers. You kind of need those. That's a lot of knights. And here comes the monk. The monk can actually get some conversions. +2 already from TeRRoR. That's pretty dangerous for him. I think he might even lose this one just simply because his economy here. What's he got on gold? That's more than enough for double stable knights. Food economy, a little bit low considering he still has so many villagers. Going for a ram rush? Okay. There's enough mangonels to defeat that though, and also 2 monasteries now. Those knights aren't gonna last. I think TeRRoR's just at a disadvantage here. He's too late up the castle and he just can't fight this. Unless he somehow snipes the mangonels, but this right here is just gonna get blocked off. Yeah, now what? So knights can just get converted easily. If one of them gets converted, this whole attack's over. Yeah, and those 3 rams just running away because obviously they're just gonna die from back there. I honestly need my phone to stop going off the chain. TeRRoR trying to build a castle, but that is not going to go up. I mean, it's within the range of the... That's not within the range of the tower, but the mangonel is there. All these knights coming in, one of them getting converted, 2 monasteries, but not making monks apparently. Now they are. That would be a good idea to make those. Yeah, these knights are just going to melt under the towers still. I mean, they do have +2, but they're just not going to live. So the castle is going to go up, but this army is going to go down with it. More monks have come out, another 2, so that's another 2 knights converted. Knights still getting shredded under the towers. I don't see how TeRRoR plans to win this, but also still being on 1 TC for Lojza and can afford a castle, can afford more towers. It feels like he's just not spending resources he has. With this, he can really quickly turn this into an Imperial Age upgrade. Like, even if he just... There's just... Okay, he's going 3 TC. Okay, booming, recover. Cancel all these villagers, sell that stone, click up to imp, use keeps. Gonna be useless, you need castle to then build trebs. Is going to be up to castle faster? It definitely looks like it, especially with this economy. I wouldn't really use 3 TCs at this point though, because he's not going to have the food to click up. It's going to be pretty late to having the food to click up to then treb this castle. Although that could also be sniped by the knights, so maybe he just doesn't want to do that. What am I worried about here? I'm slightly worried about... Honestly, TeRRoR imping first, and he's going to mass some petards. Okay. That one is completely news to me. TeRRoR's going for a small 2 TC here. He's not going to have the food and gold right away to click up because he is making knights, but... I don't like why either of these players are going economy. Mining camp coming up here, he needs a bit more stone, not entirely sure why, he already has a castle. I did run over here, fair enough. Just going into the second one. So he was going to go for the relics but then decided not to. Oh, is that in range of the castle? Yes, it must be. Not so great. I'm curious, does TeRRoR actually think he's going to petard this? Because if he does think that, then it's actually not the worst thought. It's probably going to work. Lojza scouting the outskirts of the map. He does actually want to get these relics. He has decent scouting as well. TeRRoR's not looking so good. This tower is still going. Maybe one day Lojza can destroy this castle and tower before he loses that. He hasn't. TeRRoR has no food at all. Neither player has any food. A lot more gold for Lojza. As I said, I think he really should be using the market to click up here. Honestly, yes. I think if TeRRoR, even the Rams, he wouldn't need petards, but even the Rams, if you just actually, what's the fuck war? He would have to really circumnavigate, like go out this gate to be able to make that one happen as a surprise attack. Okay, so the mangonels are not going to get killed by the knights. Only one war wagon going to be useless. That's a lot of war wagons actually. That could be enough to kill the petards or at least stop them, kill enough of quantity. Yeah, that's a lot of petards that are now dead. That's not enough to actually win this. It looks pretty bad. So what is TeRRoR going to do now? Lojza is about to imp, TeRRoR is also about to imp a little bit faster, he can trip. I don't see any real options coming from Lojza to be able to stop trebuchets at the moment. Of course, TeRRoR did have the knights, he no longer does, but he did have the knights that you can make to snipe any trebs and use his own trebs to win. But of course, if Lojza makes trebs, knights come snipe his trebs, and he has nothing to snipe the trebs of TeRRoR. He's now adding another siege workshop. Oh, come on, use the villager. What are you doing? No wonder why FedEx roasts you. But anyway, looking at TeRRoR's base, he is on adding a third TC. He is 13 villagers behind. Economy wise, they're kind of pretty similar at the moment. Lojza is only slightly ahead, I feel. But honestly, I don't see how this is going to work. TeRRoR imps first, he then has his trebs that are probably not going to be snipeable. This castle may go down. What's his move from then on? Kill the guard tower? Okay, then he's still got mass war wagons to deal with. Well, Lojza also does have a lot of stone, he managed to mine a decent little bit from here. Still on the one castle, but he's like 200 stone buys away from building another one, so that's not a problem. And the war wagons just waltz right in. No armor, but who needs armor when you've got Balkan already on a unit with this much strength? Yeah, the knights are just getting murdered. War wagons are my favorite CA. This monk is easily going to get convert. The thing I hate about war wagons is that if you hear the convert sound, it's kind of gone. You're just such a slow unit. TeRRoR now imps. Now he's going to make a treb right away. And of course his treb does have more accuracy if he does have a treb war. If he remembers to make a treb. There we go, there's treb. Economy being raided by war wagons. Watch out folks, new raiding unit. Cavalier coming in for John Slow, not +4 armor. He can actually afford it. I think it'd be quite important if he got it. Still, Lojza is now going for scale mirror armor. He wants to go Hull Bollinger. I'm okay with that. Pikemen coming in, hand cart, chainmail armor. The keep towers can't reach that, but I think they're going to be nice. No bracer, I would... There's no reason for him to consider bracer anymore. He no longer has a useful amount of war wagons. Yeah, I think Calwander is going to work here. It's a general kill all for the Huns. Well, I prefer war wagons to Mangudai in some... well, a lot of instances. It's one of those unstoppable masses either way, but war wagons are just big horsey things, which is... you can't not like that. I like my casting style half AFK, but yeah, tonight I'm quite busy, so that's extra fun. That's actually a decent amount of halbs. These monks can get extra versions. 3 of these converted is actually a decent change here. But the halbs are coming out. That's a lot of racks as well to make halbs from. I think Lojza is fine. He needs to expand out here a little bit more defense maybe. Can he afford another castle? He could buy one. He could probably mine it pretty quick though. I think he just generally needs to secure this area here just to get that gold. Otherwise we're going to have a repeat of last game where he just didn't have the gold because he, you know, had to push so hard to manage to mine his forward second golds. Multiple siege workshops coming out now. Don't recall him building that one at home, but he does have one now, so maybe he's going to go for the Honor upgrade. These trebs being pretty accurate are actually a force to be reckoned with. That monk going to try pick up the relic, but it fails. Nice. 3 relics from Lojza dropped, and he does actually somehow have the monks to be able to pick those up. He just happened to plan it. That's a lot of halbs heading that way. These Cavalier just come to the right here. 2 Mangonels and 5 war wagons done. Yep, that appears to be the case. That's actually quite a decent bit of damage on the Cavalier from the Mangonels there. That's probably not what you wanted. Of course, the Mangonels can really fire on very close Cavalier because the Korean team bonus is pretty nice. Yeah, that's some really nice Mangonel micro to be able to really contribute to the fight that much. These halbs missing one more attack upgrade. Koreans only have +2 on their halbs. All infantry in general, I mean. They also do have champs. Ondra now coming in from Lojza. Chemistry from TeRRoR? Why chemistry? He wants to make ACA via the halbs. I don't think he quite plans for the halb Ondra though. I think maybe he plans for something else. Lojza does not have chemistry, I believe. No, he doesn't, so he's not going to be able to get what's called bombard cannons out of the wall right away, which might be quite nice for sniping the trebs in the castle. Though the castle, maybe not the trebs. The trebs are going to be a nuisance, as we talked about earlier. Keep tower coming up here. That's going to be quite nice against the wood line, but there is no. Does he know this? Okay, I guess TeRRoR did research a half decent upgrade there for a change. Ondra's in, no siege engineers, but iron casting now coming in, so these are as fully upgraded as Koreans can get halbs. Gold shaft mining, quite a nice economy upgrade, often overlooked. A lot of people tend to forget to get more than just the first upgrades in the mining camps. It's kind of actually a difficult upgrade at times, so you can see how it happens. So the Cavalier from TeRRoR, he did not make any more after losing the amount he did. Just focusing on the ACA, which actually have a decent amount of upgrades at the moment. Not Parthian, so it's not ideal. Are these troops going to lose to the halbs? I think they might. Yes, that's going to happen. TeRRoR going in for the upgrades. It looks like he managed to get the upgrades in time. Sorry, the repair bills. Ooh, close. But that's very nice. Those trebs are going to be quite devastating against the Ondras. Getting rid of all but one is really nice. As I said before, losing halbs for something like trebs, which are actually strategically really important right now, that's pretty important. TeRRoR going for some massive walls here, a big L-shaped wall just to make things a bit better. Lojza taking the neutral gold. So he has halb Ondra and he does have siege engineers now. He's going for a capped ram rather than bomber cannon. I think he can still snipe the trebs if he sends in maybe like 4 capped rams, and he's focusing on the siege workshops right now to be able to get the siege out anyway, so I think that's fine. Inscription's coming in. TeRRoR's now getting light cav. He wants to do Hussar meat shield. Well, Hussar in front of the cav arch instead of siege ram. I like that decision. It's especially good for sniping the onagers. Whereas HCA siege ram is kind of susceptible to decent onagers. It's really hard to out-micro Korean Onagers as well as just their mangonels because of the minimum range thing. So his war wagons are being put to use. TeRRoR's now getting plate barding armor for his light cav. I reckon he should have got that early. He might have done a little bit better with his cavalier. Or maybe even just work on the attack upgrades a little bit faster. He's still missing blast furnace. Alright, that's enough cap drums to just deal with this. That's not enough light cap to really deal with this. Those heavy cav arch are just gonna kind of die. Those halbs need to really come forward though. I don't like how far back those halbs are. And Zondras feel a little bit suicided. Oh, TeRRoR backing up to kill the rams. But I think that's a big mistake. He really should have focused on the Onagers. Those trebs are going to do the job, but not well enough, if you know what I mean. Now it's about time for Lojza to garrison the halbs inside of the rams. Oh, what is he doing? He's just letting the rams go in their train. He has a decent amount of racks, so he should just set all his production buildings in here now. Just keep making Onagers, keep making rams, maybe add more. Like, with these resources, he really should be adding more siege workshops, I feel. Main gold gonna get raided even further. TeRRoR does still have some golds in the pack though. If this castle goes down strategically, TeRRoR is in a really bad place because then he has nothing to really prevent the Onagers coming that far forward. And the Onagers are the real devastating thing here. Lojza going to lose his army up front, I feel, because he's just deciding to use it to YOLO and keep making new army back here rather than add to his main army. I don't like that decision as much. But yeah, now that castle is down, which I think is fine. Yeah, these halbs, Onagers, even the contributing monks, gonna really clean this up. TeRRoR Stonewise. What's TeRRoR like Stonewise? TeRROR's second stone still out of bounds completely. His main stone is long gone. At least I think it was here. Was it here? Yeah, it was. So he cannot make another castle. He can't, not even close to affording one. And all this army here of TeRRoR just being cleaned up. Yeah, nothing he could do now. He can't even do anything about the halbs. TeRRoR should be throwing the GG right now. He is villager count wise 32 behind. And military wise he's well, now he's gone up to 10. He's making something, but it's not enough. Some anti-trap micro, but just a lot of halbs spamming in here is going to really take care of everything, I feel. SO coming from Lojza, as well as Shinikiko? What? I don't know how to pronounce that, but let's just not. The +1 range tech, we'll just call it. TeRRoR calling the GG. Lojza is winning, but yeah. Huns against Halbonger, not the best combination. Koreans are particularly weak in the very early imp stage because, as I said, they have a really nice safe boom, but with no eco bonus, they actually just can't really do much against, you know, good early imp options. And something like Halb Splacidram or Halb Onager, it's actually pretty cheap to go with a really quick boom if you have a good boom sieve, like maybe not Huns, but other sieves like Vikings maybe. Obviously not Halb, but you can go Pikes. Sorry, I completely just confused two options together, but yeah, Vikings like Arbonger is a really fast option against Vikings early, just because Seadrams will kill the anything like the Trebs, the towers especially. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice little imp power spike for Koreans to be able to get the free keep tower at that point, but the upgrades are still kind of expensive. You still need to get Bracer, you still need to get chemistry, you still need to get ballistics. Lots of techs you're going to need to actually make use of the power spike, otherwise you're basically a generic civ at that point. So any fast options can really kill you if it's in early imp, but definitely not much earlier than that. Koreans are a nice defensive civ, but just quite hard to obtain late game. MBL is a noob. You heard it here first. I like MBL. The one thing I don't get though is his rant about arena, and then he goes to play BF where he smushes and gets smushed all the time. That's just my favorite thing in AOC. So let's take a quick look at achievements. Economies are actually pretty similar, a little bit larger for Lojza. Lojza did go 3 TC, whereas TeRRoR went 2, and I think TeRRoR could have pushed back if he went for 2 TC push, but he kind of lost the thread with that one. He did kill a lot of knights. Economy wise though, he is still a little bit better off. Lojza, I mean. Units killed 170 to 131. A lot of Lojza's units were... A decent amount were war wagons, but also quite a lot were halbs towards the end. A lot of TeRRor's units were knights. Very many of them were knights, cavalier. A lot of them were heavy cav arch. Not that many were light cav, so TeRRor lost the far more expensive army. And he lost a lot more of it, of course. Let's see. Lojza definitely did get castle very fast after Trush. TeRRor was quite a bit behind. TeRRor of course had the food head start, but he spent it all and used a lot of his food economy to be able to defend that Trush. Boom wise, Lojza did do a little bit of an overboom. Relic gold wise, he did have a lot more because he had those 3 relics quite early. So that's it for this game. We are currently looking at score wise 2-1 for Lojza. And that is me done streaming for today. I have got stuff to do, so thanks everyone for coming to the stream. Maybe next time we'll do community games next Friday, but that's only if we have time. At the same time, we need a lot of interest in that, and there doesn't appear to be too much. So thanks everyone for coming, and goodbye.